World's right around the corner. It really feels like Yu-Gi-Oh players are kind of in a toss-up on what they should and shouldn't be playing, whether they should be targeting meta-specific decks or should they just play the deck they want to play. For Yu-Gi-Oh regionals, locals, and even bigger YCS events, this can be kind of a difficult task, not knowing what you can and can't prepare for, especially when you have oppressive decks like Cool Tune. You got different builds of Ritual Light and Darkness, and even Elf Note and Power Patron. Well, I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, and I can definitely give you some opinions on what I think the meta is going to do, kind of where it's going to shape, and what direction that this specific deck can do. And honestly, it's where it's kind of my bread and butter. It's heroes. You know, I think heroes bring a certain type of aggression, a certain type of grind when it comes to these meta decks, and kind of where it can fall in place. Now, obviously, it will have its faults. It'll have areas of its weakness, but I do think it has really good areas to attack the certain meta. I think Cool Tune is not going to be the biggest issue anymore going forward, probably after Worlds when we get the new ban list. But before we jump into that, if y'all enjoy content like this, definitely hit that subscribe button, leave your comments down below, like, share the video. I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's dive into this.
Clean, sharp, straighty like an engine. Running 24/7 on go. Pulling fade up like a spring in a bow. Any mountain to a mid, just another road. Leaves his mark everywhere like a beast.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video, and I really hope that this gives you a little insight in what's going to be moving forward going into the meta. We're still waiting on sets like Magnificent Monsters with the new DEM support, and obviously the new hero support as well. And I think that the meta is going to be taking a turn for the better because we are moving off of Cool Tune. Everyone and their mom just doesn't like the deck, and it's going to be kind of a really good grace period before we start getting into tunes, and we have no idea how that's going to turn out. And I think that this is going to be a more fun format as far as a bigger variety of decks, because I do think that looking at these decks that we've been looking at it not necessarily in the wrong way, but not in the perfect way. We'll say it like that, where you're looking at Rolad and you think that Ritual Light and Darkness, for those that don't know, is that the effects of those monsters are specifically monsters that can't be destroyed or whatever, unaffected by card effects unless your cards target those cards. Well, heroes have a lot of cards to target. You know, like, yeah, we're known as the Floodgate deck, but we have cards like DPE, Contrast Hero Chaos, and different options like that. Whereas you start playing against decks like Elf Note, Power Patron, Art Mage, anything like that that kind of revolves around the graveyard and their on-field effects. You got cards like Plasma and Dark Law that handle those as well. And then obviously DPE adds that extra layer of making sure your opponent's monsters just can't beat over your stuff. So I definitely feel there's some wiggle room here for heroes to kind of maybe make the push. And I do want to go over my deck list today, and I want to show you kind of what the target is. And basically my hero deck it's been pretty consistent on kind of what the ratios are going to be. So if you've seen my videos before, you kind of already going to know what to expect when you see this. And I am very confident going into this. Now, we are just starting to test this. So I did take Ritual Light and Darkness as a Mina to the regional in Mobile, and you know, like, the deck is very fun, and I definitely don't take nothing away from the deck. It's very powerful. It's definitely going to be the meta along with the Elf Note strategy, and I take nothing from that. But when I went to this regional, and all of my opponents were phenomenal. Anybody that played me at the regional, you know, shout out to y'all. Y'all were super phenomenal. Y'all were really cool, you know, very patient. You know, it gave me no reason to not have a good time, which it was a bomber. We will always go to the Mobile Regional. But moving forward, we have, you know, the Ritual Light and Darkness strategy, which essentially I was playing what Swole TCG likes to say, link slot, you know, like, so I was playing that, and it's very, very combo heavy. And, you know, the whole time I'm playing this deck, you know, like, it can, you know, definitely push through some boards. It's got some different layers you can do with it, but it kind of felt like heroes, you know, like, I mean, it doesn't lose to the same things, you know, necessarily, but it does give kind of the same vibe as far as, you know, how much you have to set up to get to a certain point. And I think that when it comes engine to engine, you know, I think heroes can play with any engine out there. And, you know, like, Rolad is it has flaws just like heroes do. You know, like they do play bricks. You know, there's many times in a lot of my matches where I'm drawing, you know, the trap card, I'm drawing the ritual monsters themselves. You know, if I'm drawing Fua going first, you know, like the deck bricks too. You know, and I have found, you know, like while I really enjoyed that strategy, you know, I played it to my playstyle, but I don't think it's going to be something that I want to play moving forward. That being said, that doesn't mean that I didn't take something from what I piloted, you know, like because just because the Link version of the deck didn't work out for me, or maybe the bigger fusion part of Azamina with it, I don't think moving forward like that's going to be the way I'm going to approach it. I do think heroes are going to be the way. And then from what you're seeing with these top decks that are coming out, with some of the lists I've been seeing, they're playing a lot of piles. And honestly, I think heroes are the best pile deck there is. You know, we have heroes that all get to one another, that all bridge into one another. You know, so if they're going to be doing that with Rolad, Mitsu, and whatever they decide to throw in there, you know, like why wouldn't we just do this with heroes? You know, throw up our 2 floodgates and then put a couple of negates with a pop, you know, and then obviously you can goo your favorite contact into your Shining Neos and then pop 2 more cards with an absolute massive body. So I don't see where you can honestly go wrong with it. So I do think hero players that are out there and you're kind of on the fence, if you think you're going to compete in this meta, I think you have a really good chance. Now, obviously there's going to be some hurdles to go over. You know, Droll is still a card. You're going to have to worry going second with Lava Golem because everyone's going to have Lava Golem in their side deck. And then you have the branded version of Ritual Light and Darkness, which is going to still run Super Poly. Super Poly is an absolute killer for this deck. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to get around it. It's not for the faint of heart for me to tell you that you're not going to go through some hurdles. So I'm not going to say that this strategy is perfect. I'm not going to say that obviously it's not super efficient either. You know, everyone and their mom that plays heroes knows it's like building a house. We have tons of bricks in the deck. It's just all about how you can cycle through them. So going forward, I think this strategy for me is really going to be based on how much engine I can dive into and seeing how much I can get into breaking their board to set up just enough to where they can't get enough follow-up to get you back. But enough of that being said, let's jump into the deck profile. I hope y'all enjoy. All right, guys, so diving into this profile, nothing much has really changed here. We are going to be still on the 60 card list, and the ratios are still essentially the same from what I was running before. And that's mainly just because you want to see more engine pieces and you want to get as much consistency as possible. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first we have 3 Stratos. I think that Stratos is still just absolutely mandatory at 3, especially in a 60 card build. I think as the list does get a little smaller, you're probably going to cut this to 2, but that's just going off of your personal preference. Me personally, I like 3. I think I'm never mad if I see Stratos in my hand. Like I'm never upset. Like you can argue it's not the best normal summon all you want to, but I've never heard a hero player say, oh, you know, I wish I didn't see Stratos in my hand. So I do think this is extremely important to what we got going on, and I don't see any other list that I'll be running that has less than 3. So like I said, that's just personal preference. 3 Ejector, I think 3 for this is also right. I don't think you would necessarily be wrong if you cut this to 2, but I just find that if you want the most consistency with your deck, you're going to want more 1-card starters than anything. And seeing Miracle Ejector, even if you draw into your Aqua Dolphin, you still can normal summon this and you're going to do the same things. So I don't think seeing this at anything less than 3 is bad. Now, you do have some hero players out there that say like you're only going to use Miracle Ejector 1 time, maybe twice, so you really don't need 3. You want to put more non-engine in here. Well, at the end of the day, this is a 60 card build, so I'm going to probably say that 100 times in this video, but I do want to keep reiterating that in a 60 card list, you're going to want to see as many starters as possible. You're going to want to cram as much in here as possible. Now, I think I may have probably 41 cards of engine in here, so the deck will go. Moving forward, I am on 2 Shadow Mist. So this is one of the bigger controversies in this deck because you really never want to see this, but with the amount of ratios that we're running as far as discard fodder and getting cards out of your hand and onto the field, running 2 of this isn't bad, and it is another way to get into more of your engine. I'm using, if you draw into your furnace or your Ferris or anything like that, your fountain or something, you know, like, you're not going to be upset seeing this, because either way you're getting a mass change out of it, or you're getting it to the graveyard to get you into even more resources. And that's kind of what the name of the game is going into this format, is just resource. Can you out resource your opponent? And I think this will absolutely help with that. Rounding off the E-Heroes, we do play the 1 Neos, and then we will throw in the Aqua Dolphin. So that is it for the Elemental Hero side. For the Vision Heroes, I still think the Vision Heroes are the absolute, you know, like, when you think of heroes, like, especially back in the day, you know, like, this was the bread and butter combo. And I've said it before, I don't think we should abandon, like, this line. I think you should stick to this, you know, like, but the great thing is you don't need it, but it's nice to have it. And I always felt like, you know, they say less is more. Well, I think, you know, like, I think if you had more ways to get into your pieces and more ways to get to your end boards, then I think you should go with it. And I think for heroes, like I said earlier, like, you're going to have a lot of pile decks going around. So essentially you're just adding another layer and another layer to heroes. And that's essentially what Konami's done with this deck, is they turned it into a pile deck. And what better way than to just put more pieces in here that get you into other pieces. Speaking of the other pieces, we do run the 2 Vion and then the 1 Increase. And then Increase, drawing it isn't the worst thing anymore. Like, you used to, when you drew Increase, you're like, okay, my combo is dead. I can't do anything. So, you know, like, now when you see it, you just discard it off a Furnace or whatever you got going on. And then anytime you take damage, it's just going to reset itself in the Spell or Trap card zone. And then you can just do your combo from there. Going forward, we do have the Destiny Hero package, 3 Malicious, pretty standard, 1 Denier, and 1 Plasma. You know, I think that Plasma is going to now have a place on the end board now, because I have different ways to protect it. I say we have different ways to protect it. And I think that when you play against some of the heavy hitter decks, like, this is going to make a difference. So I do think Plasma going forward is going to be in the deck list. I don't think it's wrong to play it. For the Masked Heroes, I'm playing a bigger Masked Hero engine. I think every single way that this deck can get to polymerization, you need to be doing it. If you don't see polymerization in your opening hand, if you don't have ways to search it, then you're not going to get very far with heroes. So I think having this to go get poly, your Vision Heroes to go get poly, this is what you're going to be getting it off of. And then we have 2 Fountain and then the 1 Crow. Crow by itself can obviously get you into this, and then you can search poly that way to get you at least into a negate, or vice versa, you go this into this to get you into your mass change. But outside of that, a lot of players don't like this card being more than 1, because they feel like it doesn't do anything on its own. But the thing is, when you play Yu-Gi-Oh, you're drawing 5 cards. You're not drawing 1 card to draw into 1 Fountain. And I don't know if you've ever played Heroes before, but Heroes is a bunch of 1.5 and 2 card combos. So you need Fountain. And then hypothetically, if you draw into something, you know, if you draw this with your Ferris, then this will get you mass change, and then your Ferris can summon. Or if you just want to reveal Fountain and then summon your Ferris, you could do that too. So I think that definitely helps out as well. So getting some of those bricks out of your hand is the name of the game. On to the spells. There probably will not be a hero player playing anything less than 3 of a Hero Lives. It's just too good. It's 1 card starter, gets you into everything you need. 3 Fusion Destiny. You know, I've really come around on this card. You know, it is the last thing you want to activate when you're doing your combo, but this just gets you into so much, and it's really kind of hurts your opponent whenever they waste all of their hand traps, and then you just bam, you slap down Fusion Destiny, and they can't do anything with it. We have 2 E-Call to get you into your ejector. Like I said, anytime you can thin out the deck by getting into your ejector and then just siphoning through all of your cards and searching everything you need to do, you know, eventually at the end of the day, you have to search cards. So the more stuff you have to get into your main engine and getting into your bigger boards, then you're going to need to try to get on that. 1 Rhoda and then the 1 Foolish. You know, this is basically for that extra Shadow Mist. This is for your your one card starters as far as like Stratos, or if you want to go into Vion is arguably a better normal summon, but more ways to kind of get into your combo pieces. Ian Shuffle to go with your Miracle Ejector. I'm on 2 polys. I think Polymerization is, like I said earlier, it's one of the key spell cards in this deck. It really glues everything together, not to mention you can go back and get this multiple times. And I think 3 might be a little cloggy. I mean, I know I keep saying it that you want to see polymerization, but I also think that you don't want to see too much of it. So I think 2 is the way to go with that. 1 mass change. I do think, other than maybe Rolad, that Darklaw doesn't affect too many decks, but at the same time, Darklaw is going to be extremely important in this format, because while if they activate their Mind Shuffle and they add a card and discard, it's going to be banished. So if they're crazy enough to send their Skull or any other kind of card in their hand to see more, Darklaw on resolution is going to rip another card, so they're going to go -2. So Darklaw is definitely for that. 1 Miracle Fusion, and then round off the engine, 1 Favorite Contact. For the non-engine, we are on 3 Fualos, and then we are on 3 Perulia. So I've been against this for so long, and now that I've seen it play against me at Mobile, I've seen guys main decking this, and they're just getting into their engine. Like they're drawing so much. Even if this draws you maybe 1 or 2, or this 1 or 2, it doesn't matter. The more engine you can get into, the better off you're going to be. And I truly can't stress that enough. And then obviously you can draw into your non-engine. So if you draw 1 engine, 1 non-engine, you can keep drawing into interruption. Like this really doesn't need that much explanation. But just going off what I went through at the Mobile Regional, this just was so clutch. We have 3 Ash Blossom. This deck summons crazy out the hand. It summons crazy out the extra deck. You've got to have ways to stop these cards. Now in 60 cards, it's going to be hard to draw into this, but you're going to have consistency where you can get it. 2 Droll. Droll just eats the road decks. Like road decks just cannot deal with this. It does so much. And then over the weekend, this did put in some work against Elf Note and the Power Patron strategy. So I do think this is worth it. We run 2 Ghost Ogres, because you do have obviously Rolad going around, so this will hurt the Rolad strategy. This sort of kind of hits the Elf Note strategy as far as their continuous spells go, so this does help out with that. Kind of a little controversy here is 3 Imperm. I think what I'm thinking with this is it's just 1 more layer of interruption, and I don't see a bad way to kind of, I don't think it's a bad card to draw into. Any type of interruption you can get, you kind of want to draw into it. Now, if you want to swap this, now non-engine obviously is subjective, so, and it's preference. It's just like building your regular hero deck. It's preference. So I think this for me is just working for right now. And to round it off, the 1 call by. Alright, so off to the extra deck. The boy himself, 2 Darklaw. Like I said, I think this against certain matchups, obviously against rogue options, any deck that needs the graveyard, which is a lot of decks. Cool Tune needs the graveyard. Rolad to an extent needs their graveyard. If you banish their field spell plus their Skull, then they're kind of SOL. Against Elf Note, they need their graveyard. Power Patron needs their graveyard. Plus they play Pendulums, so they need their Pendulums to go to the extra deck. If you have Darklaw on the field, they're banished. We have our nice little negates that target. So Rolad, if you summon your full board where you have like Plasma, Darklaw, DPE with Chaos, anything that threatens your Darklaw or your Plasma, you're using your Chaos to protect it. So if they decide they want to go ahead and ritual summon and bring out the BLS, then we're going to do Chaos to negate, because they're not going to banish our cards. It's not going to happen. And then they're not going to be able to attack over it. So it is what it is. One Infernal Rage, one Sunrise, one Shining Neos Wingman, and one Voltic Thunder. Now, this doesn't really do anything against the roll edge strategy, but against your other strategies like Elf Note and Power Patron and things like that, if you can board wipe them, especially with your Dark Claw, it's game over. They can't do anything with it. One DPE, you're going to always use this in roll ed to pop the Mind Shuffle. You don't want them to get that rolling and start getting their stuff flowing, so outside of that, that's what you need to use that for roll ed. Trinity, 5k beater. Name one card the roll ed strategy plays that can beat this. Now, if they summon Chaos Angel, then you know you're kind of in a tough spot, but at the same time, if you go into your Shining Wingman, then, or your Shining Neos Wingman, then they're not getting over that either. 2 Cross Crusaders still, 1 Driver, 1 Devicer, and then the 1 Baguska. The reason I decided on Baguska is, like I said before, like if you happen to draw into a weird hand where you can only get 2 level 4s on the board, then you can just go into your Baguska and just try to survive for a turn. But at the end of the day, I think this will be one of the cards that I may decide to cut. Like I said, we're just testing and we're going to see how it plays out. But I do think Decimator might be the better pick because you can get more attack on board, make your stuff a whole lot stronger. So like you have cards like the BLS that comes out that just can't destroy your stuff because everything's going to be like well over 3,000. So I definitely think that could be a way to go as well. So I do think Decimator might find its way into the extra deck. For the side, it's kind of a thrown together side, but I do think it's cards that can help facilitate what you want to get done as far as ending on good inboards. We have the Solemn package. There was never a situation at Mobile where these didn't come in clutch. Like these were just so good. Like this card just 8 cards, this card and this card, they just eat. For this deck, obviously Super Poly and Lava Golem really suck. So we have cards in here that kind of prevents you from getting Lava Golemed. So I think that when you're playing in, because Rolad is everywhere, and the Lava Golems are essentially for Rolad. So anytime you see going forward a way to protect your monsters from getting, you know, Lava Golem, then these are going to be the way to go. We're still on Mistaken Arrest because, like I said, against rogue strategies, the Droll and Lockbird was just ate. And then did play 1 Sky Striker player, you know, I had this face down and flipped it over. He's like, yeah, let's go to game 2, you know, like, or game 3. And, you know, like this it just ate. One card I do want to test out is the Forbidden Graveyard. So discard a card and cards effects activate in the graveyard, you turn them off. So Rolad, sorry man, you're not getting your field spell, or I mean your ritual spell, you're not using your summon effect for your Summon Skull. You're not doing anything. You're not using your Wanted to banish in order to draw a card, putting the Deception back. You're not doing Hollowed Azamina. Like, you're not doing anything. Like, this shuts down the Rolad Azamina strategy as far as getting cards out of their graveyard. And then if you happen to play against a branded player, like their in-phase effects, yeah, that's not happening, bro. It's not gonna be able to do it. And then to finish it out, we are doing the 3 Lava Golem. The only reason I don't like the 3 Lava Golem setup is because it does take your normal summon away. And anybody that has played Heroes obviously knows that we do need our normal summon. So, but this is going to be the list that we're going to be testing for a few weeks. Now, we are still waiting on a ban list. So obviously once the ban list hits, things are going to change. And I do feel like obviously Cool Tune and decks like that are going to get hit pretty hard. I don't know how hard they're going to hit the Power Patron strategy, but I do think some hits are coming. Elf Note probably isn't going to get touched. They're getting more support, and then Rolad's getting more support. Blitzclick's getting more support. So you're going to have different things coming, and then you know the new DM stuff, the new hero stuff. So everything is in these next couple weeks is definitely going to change. So outside of that, for this little grace period that we have, I do think this is a very fun option to pick up and start bringing to your locals to test out. But guys, that is it for the video. I really hope you enjoyed this deck profile. If you enjoy more content like this, definitely let me know down below. And until then, guys, Heroes Best Deck.